Hey there, Bucs fans. Casey Phillips here with senior writer and editor Scott Smith. We are coming to you from Pittsburgh. We are actually at Carnegie Mellon for this first practice. We're here for a couple different days. This one is not a joint practice. So, yeah.
Good setup, though. Yeah, and home of the Tartans, we've learned.
Yes, which we did have to Google what that was. So it was a learning day for all of us.
They have a nice little logo with a Scottish Terrier on it, so it's pretty cool. It's a nice setup.
Yeah, this is a lot of fun. I heard some of the guys talking about that it feels a little bit like we've gone back to kind of the roots of football, that it was raining a little bit when we got out here, and just being on this one field with the college bleachers around us, it's kind of a cool atmosphere before, especially tomorrow. I know it'll be a joint practice at the Steelers' actual stadium and facility and all of that, so this is a fun alternative. So we figured we haven't gotten to do one of these since the preseason game, so tell me, for you, Scott, what were some of the big takeaways from that, knowing it was not going to be a day to see the starters? This was going to be a day about depth, and what did you feel like we were able to kind of learn or see about that depth throughout that game?
Well, one of the things I think you want to see in preseason games is the stuff you see on the practice field that's going well carry over and actually also happen in games, because it doesn't ultimately mean anything if it's only happening on the practice field. And one thing that we've seen a lot of in the first few weeks of training camp is defensive backs getting their hands on the football a lot and catching enough of them, maybe not as many as coach would like, but some interceptions, a lot of passes defense. And then we saw that in the game. There were 10 passes defense by our defense, 3 interceptions. They really kind of put it away with all that, and that was without the starters starting. So I thought that was a very encouraging development. Also, obviously, Sean Tucker looked really good. The numbers don't jump off the page. I think something like 13 or 18 for 50, but he was running into the teeth of a defense that knew he was going to run. I mean, there's 3 reasons why you're running the ball in the second half of a preseason game. First of all, your playbook is about this thin, right? And you don't want to show anything. So you can run another duo off the left guard run, and you're not giving anything away because everybody has that play. Oh, let's run it again. Let's run it again. I mean, we did 3 straight runs up the middle at the goal line, and Tucker got it in on the third one. So even against all that, and then also, of course, if we were leading, so you want to run the clock and reduce their number of chances. And then the third one is, it's this preseason on Saturday night. I think even the coaches kind of want to keep that clock running in the second half. So it was encouraging to see him run hard and run well, and be, it gives you that security blanket. Rachaad White got a little, he got hurt in that game. And if that happens in the regular season, it's nice to know you can still put out a duo of Bucky Irving and Sean Tucker, or Rachaad White and Sean Tucker, and really not lose a beat.
Yeah, that one running back room does feel so deep. You got 3 guys who all have very different styles, but all you could make a case for having starter kind of capabilities depending on what a team was looking for. And so that's just an embarrassment of riches, which is really nice. And got to see, some of the other rookies get some of their first real snaps, and seeing Emeka Egbuka out there, and taking the first reps at punt return, which was interesting. So what was it about any of the rookies that kind of stood out?
Well, right, they didn't play a lot, right? Egbuka didn't play a lot, but he looked the part. And Kyle Trask threw the ball, got the ball downfield sharply to him and Jalen McMillan, who ran nice, crisp routes. And I think they each only had that one catch because they didn't play for very long, but they sure looked good. So you wanted to see that right off the bat. Kyle Trask was sharp, and so it's good to build the confidence in him. I'm trying to think of another rookie that would.
Jacob Parrish got a chance to get a few snaps, but the same thing. A couple other rookies were injured. Benjamin Morrison not getting in there. Tez Johnson, which I know they have, ended up making a few roster moves at this time of the year, just because of the fact that there are usually some injuries around now, and that's just how camp goes. So, what are some of the roster moves that have been added since that last game?
Well, you mentioned Tez Johnson. I just want to point out that both he and Cade Otten returned to practice at the end of last week, and they're practicing today. But there are a bunch of guys still banged up, and they've kind of been concentrated at the cornerback and running back positions. Like we saw Bryce Hall running on the sideline. Benjamin Morrison is not back at practice yet. So they added undrafted rookie named Javion Farr. This is his first team. He's signed out of Augustana, which I think is in South Dakota, or it might be North Dakota. It's one of the Dakotas. And then a running back, because Owen Wright's still banged up and Rachaad White isn't going to practice for a little while. So they signed a running back named Jace McClellan, who was out of Alabama, who was actually a 6th-round pick by the Falcons last year. So, this happens every year at this time of camp. You got a couple positions where the injuries are concentrated, and you got to make some additions. And so to do that, the Buccaneers waived injured Michael Pratt and waived the undrafted rookie Ryan Coe, Michael Pratt being the quarterback that just couldn't get on the field because of his back injury.
Yeah, and then Coe the kicker as well. I know also that looking at, there were a few plays made by the defense. You talked about the linebacker position, a few of these other guys, and it was really cool to see some of those big plays get made. In general, just at this point, it feels like we feel pretty good about depth at a lot of different positions.
Yeah, I mean, you talked about linebacker. You got Deion Jones, who I think they've really liked. He looks like he's got something left in the tank. Servase Dennis is the starter, but he actually did start that game. He was one of only a couple starters that actually started it. And Anthony Walker isn't back yet. They liked what both undrafted rookie linebackers did, both John Bullock and Nick Jackson. I think there's a spot on the 53-man roster for one of those two guys. I think you got probably, if you probably want to keep 5 of them, and they have to be able to play on special teams, obviously. I mean, Levante David doesn't, but the rest of them do. And I think Nick Jackson, who had about 1 million tackles in college, he looked good. He got involved in he had an interception, didn't he? Yeah, he had one of the 3 picks, so that was good to see.
For sure. And then, looking at a week like this where you get to spend the week together, always great from, a camaraderie standpoint, letting the guys spend some time together, a little bit of that away camp feel, which is nice. And we know, again, today is not the joint practice, tomorrow will be. What do you feel like are some of the things now? You've had a preseason game, you did joint practices last week. Now, what do you feel like are the things that the team is really going to be looking to accomplish this week, of whether it's guys or positions or things that they now want, now that they've gotten one of those under the belt, what they're going to be focusing on this week?
I think it doesn't even really matter who the other team is, just that it's somebody else. And I think what they want to see is a progression in how well the guys have the playbook down and they are where they're supposed to be. I know I watched a team drill in the joint practice with the Titans, which was our defense against their offense, and there was a string of just outright blown coverages that I'm sure they spent a lot of time looking at on film afterwards and trying to get that shored up. So this far, each progressing week, you got to be better at all those things. And the best place to show that is against another team who is going to be giving you looks you didn't expect. Baker Mayfield said that after those joint practices, there was a few looks that they were not expecting, and they didn't handle it as well as he would have liked. So they got to be prepared to know what they're going to do against a variety of different things. And it makes sense that it would be a little shaky earlier, but each week it's got to be a little bit better because that first game's right around the corner.
Yep, that's very true. All right, well, we are going to be back here tomorrow for the joint practice with the Steelers, so make sure you tune back in then. We'll give you an update then. We'll see you tomorrow.